Do I really need to say it? Okay. This is canon. Now let's get into Legacy. Star Wars Legacy is a 50-issue comic series written by John Ostrander and published back in 2006 that introduced us to some of the best characters that everybody fucking forgot about, like Darth Krayt, Rowan Fell, Darth Melody, Darth Warlock, Kate Skywalker, Darth Talon's Tits, and of course, Anson motherfucking Trask. Our story starts alright with the establishment of what the current setting is from Darth Krayt himself, who is our main villain. We also see the, in my opinion, worst design for a TIE Fighter-esque starfighter, which is the Predator starfighter. But I digress, I will talk about that later on. We also see our main characters, those being Wolf Sazon and Cole Skywalker, and later on even Cade, fighting off a legion of stormtroopers, which establishes them as being capable enough to fend themselves against regular humans with blasters, but then later on we see them struggling against a much more skilled foe, that being Darth Nihil and his Sith. Now, in this case, I don't know what to say about both the Jedi and the Sith from just the first issue, because we don't really get any kind of big show of their power. As for Cole Skywalker, he is explained in outside media, outside of this series, so I won't be touching on that one, but in this issue, he just doesn't come off as very powerful. Wolf Sazon is shown as being weaker than Darth Nihil, who just has enough skill to disarm and mortally wound the Jedi Master, which, in my opinion, is an impressive, for the lack of a better term, feat, because he uses some utilities that, previous Sith didn't use, like this laser from his gauntlet, but later on he just gets promptly punched in the face by Cole, and we see Cade Skywalker pulling off the best horse face he could pull off. This is an issue with this series, is like the artwork kind of switches styles sometimes. It sometimes looks very good, sometimes very bad. We see this in this face, for example, where it just looks awful. And then we see the lack of shading on his foot, and it looks very weird. But I digress. They fight off a bunch of Sith, and the dialogue kind of gets repetitive in this part. It's like, Kate, go to the ship. No, I don't want to go to the ship. Kate, get to the ship. It's like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna go to the ship. So it repeats itself 3 times. It kind of bugs me. As I mentioned before, we have a stylistic change in the artwork, which is kind of jarring to the eyes. We also get his main power established, that being the combination of Force Lightning and Shadow Point, which will be explained later. For this particular issue, we will just find out that it's a healing ability, but it's somewhat of a dark side power. Then, of course, Cole Skywalker gets promptly killed. And yeah, that kind of ends that Skywalker. It's just a blast of Force Lightning straight to the back, and Darth Nihil is powerful enough to kill a Skywalker, who at this point should be, it's a Skywalker. It's not a small feat to kill him, but again, we don't know the extent of his power level in this era, or in this issue even. We also see Cade just falling to the dark side at this point, because he was, exposing himself to the dark side in order to heal Wolf Sazon, basically just bring him back from the brink of death. And then we see, the Predator fighters. I have an issue with this design. It's just stupid to me. Yes, they can fold back, but why are they not folded back in atmosphere? It's just an issue for me. It just looks stupid. It's a drag machine. That's my problem. It's a drag machine. But anyway, we see a stylistic change in the artwork again. Then we see Kate Skywalker being shown as a competent enough pilot to blow up a couple of fighters. Right before he gets promptly blown up himself. And this is kind of a cock tease. It's like, oh no, he's dead. But no, he's not. he's the main character. Of course, he's not dead. They leave him for dead, though. And then we skip over to the Fell Empire, which, in my opinion, is, well, one of the worst establishments of one of the main villains, that being Morlish Veed. He's kind of an idiot from the very beginning, and his idiocy doesn't really fix itself in later issues, at least not in the first 10. Like, he's a guy who trusted these people to put him on the Imperial throne, which is fucking stupid. It's really fucking stupid. It's like he looked at this guy who dates this girl, who's best friends with that guy, and whose right-hand man is that guy. And he thought, yeah, they're gonna give me the Imperial throne. No, they're fucking not. They would never do that. And of course, the other mobs kind of show themselves as being, just better than him in terms of thinking, because, they see him completely slaughtering the Imperial Knights, who are the best warriors in the Fell Empire at this point. Darth Krayt kills the body double of the Emperor, because of course this is not the Emperor. And yeah, Morlish Veed's eyebrows kind of disappear when he frowns. Then Darth Krayt proclaims himself Emperor, which of course he's gonna. And then he forces the other mobs to swear fealty to him, and of course they do. Morlish Veed plots against him because, of course, he does. He wants to become emperor, even though he's enjoying basically the same luxuries as him. He has high pay, a very nice position in the empire. But of course, now he wants to be emperor. And then Darth Malady probably gets bitch slapped and pulls off a face of an annoyed wife. In this case, it's like, oh, he's making me wash the dishes again. It's yeah, like I said, sometimes the artwork is really, it's not bad, but it's not good either. Then, of course, later on, he sends them to find their surviving Jedi, and we find out that he has some sort of space cancer, and he requires space chemo, to heal himself, and he sensed that a Jedi has this sort of power. And yeah, it's alright. It sets up the main quest, let's say, of this series, which is the search for Cade Skywalker, not Cole. Cole is fucking dead. So yeah, overall it's an okay issue. It's not the best. It's not the worst. It's just here to set up the setting. So I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in issue 2, where we come face to face with our main character wielding a boomstick. So, until then, I bid you farewell, have a good day or a good night, and have fun.